Hello, internets. It's coming up on my anniversary of leaving the military, and that inspires me to do a video on my thoughts after having joined, why I joined, why I left, and all the confusion surrounding that, actually. What my life purpose is, and the purpose that I ignored being inside of it. I was always meant to be a peaceful warrior and to have a balance between logic and spirituality. And being a part of the military was that side. The logic, the realistic, the density of reality to balance out the ways in which I lived spiritually already. And unfortunately, I had stepped far away from that side of myself, surrounded by people who kind of gave into selfishness, fear, narcissism, and just being a sheep, just being a lot of sheep. And for a system that isn't entirely right, isn't entirely just, and a system that's befuddled in a lot of confusion. I mean, to be on top, you probably did some bad shit, for America to be on top. It's we don't always do things right to other countries. We don't do them right. And it is funny with the current political spectrum, with the exact opposite that we've been doing the world so well, and that we need to do them worse. We need to focus on ourselves, but that's just wrong. That's wrong to think that we're not economically sniping and destroying the economies of other weaker countries that should actually be much more profitable. One being Africa, and stealing their resources and saying that it's ours, and kind of continuing the image that they are weak and poor. Well, it's just because America took advantage of them. There's a lot of cases like that in poor areas where we just kind of utilize them for resources, and just shit like that. Can't really agree with something like that. But to be in the military, though, there is an honorability with being a protector, and there is a way to do it in an honorable way, to lead honorably, and to be a protector of society, to lead without fear, to selflessly serve. All the real morals that make up what the military is about. It's not always true. You have a lot of leaders that don't really think about that or care, or you just kind of want one amongst the many. Maybe you're 1% of society, but in that chain, you're like 1% again of that particular sector. Especially if you're lower enlisted, but it's happening NCOs too, and officers as well. It's kind of a huge shit fest, in my opinion. But it's not always that way. It was that way in my unit. There's plenty of units that are better taken care of. The soldiers are better taken care of. And it's led more honorably. People are taking care of each other, but there's a lot of places where that's not happening. And thankfully, there wasn't like a huge drug problem in my unit, but there's a lot of that too. So it's a hit or miss with your base you get put on, and you can't just choose where you want to go. That's a big risk you're willing to take. And I've done my 6 years, so I'm stepping more into spirituality again, and it's still playing into logic, this time from a science perspective. Because it's funny that I left the military to go, left the government to go straight back into the Department of Energy, the government again, the Lawrence Livermore National Labs. So I think that's a better side of things, a better use of the mind. But not everything that's going on there is great for society either, so it's hard. It's hard to do the right thing. It's hard to make money and do the best thing for the planet, for humanity, society, yourself. But sometimes I do miss the military. I miss that brotherhood. And I was in it for 6 years, and I think I was just over it. I was done. There wasn't much growth there. I think I grew in the first 3 years, maybe, half of my time there, and then by the 4th year it was kind of on the downturn, like the stock market. Whoop. And it is hard to work so hard to be a part of something and to go through basic training and your individual job training, AIT, but and then to leave it all, people have gone. Lots of people go through this feeling of building up something in your life and having to let it go and move on to the next thing. And it's the best for you, and there's no regrets that need to be had, or wasted time. Like there's people who switch jobs and areas of life so much and do it successfully, and so to be one of those people, you have to just embrace it, love it, and if you're one of those people that just does something for 20 years, military 20 years, or shit, working in corporate retail for 20 years, and there's something beautiful in it all. There's always an advantage to it. You do 20 years in something, you get something out of it, like retirement, or it's something to keep you financially secure going forward. And everyone's secure in some way, and even if you jump jobs, like it's all recorded as long as you pay into taxes, right? There's the logic side, the grounded side of paying into the system that maybe you don't always agree with. There's a lot of things wrong with the system, and I could be pretty anti-system a lot. And It's just about keeping a balance. If you're ever completely for something, then you're extremist, right? So I'm happy where my life is. I'm happy that I'm growing towards spirituality and hosting these amazing yoga sound bowl groups. It's only been one so far, and doing it here at my family's. So I'm pretty glad. I'm pretty happy about that. I'm happy that I'm allowed to do this, and I'm happy the world has slowed down, and we need to embrace that. And I believe in this movement too, about Black Lives matters. And there's a beauty to the idea of taking down society and burning it down. Um, you know, I think we've all fantasized that a lot, but yeah, I'm really starting to see things fall apart, and you wonder, like, what's left. And that's the big thing, when you coup a system, it's like, what is left? But as long as it's created in humanity, in a humane way, and for love, and that's really what all the great leaders have demonstrated. Be the change you want to see in the world. Martin Luther King, Gandhi, like, just leaders that it's almost, yeah, like peacefully protesting. Even Jesus, he had some forcefulness to his way, but it was still out of love. And you get hurt for it, but man, what a purpose to really live by purpose and not out of fear of your own life. But yeah, this movement is finally gaining traction, and there's a lot of negativity with it, with, I don't know, destroying businesses, local businesses, and hurting the wrong people. I think the big thing is, the few ruin it for the many, and it's the bad cops or bad government that does it, and this is why, who watches the watchmen, who watches the police. Maybe we have to watch the police and be the real judgment. If the police is doing the right thing, then hell yeah, let like, there's so many good police, there's so many good men that serve in the uniform, and not all of them deserve to be attacked for the few wrongdoing. But the man who held that man on the ground for 9 minutes in a chokehold in a very slow, traumatic, just torture death. Like, he should have been killed right there. That police officer, Derek Chowders, or whatever his last name is. But that's all the people that are watching. Even his own buddies, his own brothers beside him, his own police officers protecting him in uniform. Like, that's when we have to act and stop injustice, because morality rules over a broken system, over a law that doesn't always protect people, even though it's designed to do that. his bail's up to $1 million, whatever. But if he doesn't get anything less than life or a death sentence, society will really fall apart. Maybe for the good, you know. And I mean that guy, like, if he does not get life, like, I mean, as soon as he goes to prison block, like, I don't know, he's probably definitely gonna get pretty messed up in prison. I don't know how they're holding him right now. Like, trying not to look into it too much because it really is sad, and we're all pretty damn mad about it. Because it doesn't matter what color you are, what race you are, we are the human race, and we need to step into that and realize that we're not a bunch of colors. I feel so much shame for my own race, so much. But I need to step away from that and just step into being a better human in all ways. No matter what I'm already doing, there's always something I could do that's better. And on that note, I wish you all love. This has been a deep, insightful video, I think. And I thank you for sticking with me for 17 minutes if you have.